of the Backstage Pass. It's the end of January. We've reached the 31st of the month. I always like to say tomorrow we flip the calendar going forward to February 1st here, 2022. And our last show of January, what a great January it was. A lot of great guests come by, so if you missed those shows, be sure to check them out at Backstage Pass 409 or on Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and, of course, Apple Podcast out there. Brandon Morrell here flying solo today. Of course, the co-hosts are on other business out there. And, of course, we're presented by our good friends at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, Hank Jr. Productions and MitchMax.com, where you can go to get some of that Backstage Pass merchandise. And now, just about 3 weeks from today, we fly into Nashville, Tennessee, and take part in a country radio seminar February 23rd to 25th, and it's already turning out to be a great lineup of musicians joining us and great artists, John Barry, Craig Campbell, the band Exile, Dallas Remington, a whole lot more, so be sure and stay tuned to socials and figure out what we have coming up because the calendar changes every day. And I tell you what, I love this new EP, and I'm willing to get behind it all the way and give my 2 cents for it. It's called Sights and Sounds. It's out there across all the digital platforms. The guys from Flat River Band joining us here on the show. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. It's good to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys being here. And, man, I tell you what, it takes me back to the old school sound. And I was telling you all a little bit before the show, the little bit of a little nitty-gritty dirt band kind of feel, which is going on there too. But you guys have your own unique sound. Well, first, kind of out of the box, tell me about how you guys formed, and I'm curious to know about the name of the band. We say Flat River Band, and how you guys came together and kind of knew this was something that all three of you wanted to pursue, and this thing being music.
Well, I'll start by saying that we're three brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't realize we are three brothers. I'm the middle brother. Chad's the oldest brother, and Andy's our little brother. We grew up in an authentic family band playing bluegrass and gospel music together. And we played for probably 12 years there in Branson, Missouri at Silver Dollar City. Then we played for 5 years out in Dollywood as a family band.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess about 15 years ago, we moved to Nashville. And 16 years ago, you moved to Nashville. Chad was writing songs. And so we decided to pursue the country side of things. And we formed the Flat River Band. And that name, you asked about that name, our dad had a barbershop in southeast Missouri, just south of St. Louis. And
called Flat River, Missouri.
Flat River, Missouri. And this town was called Flat River. We had a barbershop. And that's where we spend our summers a lot in Flat River. They're on the railroad tracks.
They changed the name from Flat River to Park Hills, and we'll carry the name on because nobody can really. Everybody always had a problem pronouncing our last name, which is Sites, S-I-T-T-E. But so we thought, well, we're going to go with Flat River Band, and we'll just carry on that hangout tradition where we grew up at, part of that growing up scene. So,
no doubt, love the story too. And tell me about this because I love the story. We had one of the Gatlin brothers, I think Rudy Gatlin, joined us last fall here on the show, and y'all have an interesting story with the Gatlin brothers and rehearsing this great song now on your record. Y'all do a fantastic job with I Just Wish You Were Someone I Love, and of course it's on the EP. And then you got in contact with the guys through management, some other ways. Tell me about Chad or Andy. Tell me about this story. I love everything.
Well, we were sitting in my basement and we were just jamming around on some songs, and I brought it up to the guys, and we were like, "Man, let's record," because we grew up. Last time we learned how to sing harmony is singing to the Gatlin brothers, All the Gold in California. Yeah. And we picked I Just Wish You Were Someone I Love, just jamming in our basement. We actually uploaded it last March, even before we recorded it, on our Instagram page. And we went ahead and we recorded it. We went down to Omni Recording, and we recorded it down there, and we tossed it out there to a few of our friends, and they were like, "Man, you need to get this to the Gatlin people." So we emailed it to the Gatlin people, and it just
had to go through a few people's hands before he can get anything to Larry. He's got his about three gatekeepers he's got to get through to get stuff.
So Larry sent us an email back, says he'd love to be a part of it and name the time and place, and it just happened just that simple too. Yeah. And Larry come down there in the studio, and man, we just hit it off with him. So it's big time, big fun.
It was a huge bucket list type thing too. You know what I mean? I mean, it's obviously the Gatlin Brothers, that was that particular song that recorded, I think that was like in 1977.
Mm-hmm.
It became a hit.
Yeah.
So
it's like 45 years ago.
That was way before our time. But our parents, they always listened to this, say the Gatlin Brothers. And that's how our mom taught us how to sing. One of the songs was All the Gold in California. You know what I mean? That's kind of how we learned to sing. Our mama taught us to sing. So it's kind of it is kind of a cool bucket list thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually recorded that song in
the same studio that they recorded it in back in 1976.
That's amazing.
They recorded it in
Creative Workshop.
Creative Workshop Studio.
So we cut that track.
We went back and cut the track in the same studio that they originally cut it in. So.
Which is really cool. Matter of fact, I think they have a lot of the same equipment in that Creative Workshop. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pretty cool.
It's pretty cool nostalgic thing, But,
I like that too, which is pretty awesome too, that you guys can get a hold of, and then work the proper channels. It takes time to get that stuff, get it to them, and definitely just like working a process too. But I love the sound too, and of course the new EP out there, Sights and Sounds from the guys over at the Flat River Band. I loved everything about it, man. Just like I said, the feel good music, and putting this together, and we'll dive into the songs here in just a little bit. I mean, how much fun was this to step in the studio? You guys very familiar with each other, being brothers and kind of knowing the harmonies and just hitting these songs. Like, man, this is it's timeless, and like I said, you guys just have almost flawless like putting together this type of music, and it's just what I think authentic country music that people are going to get behind, stand behind. And if people haven't heard about you, they need to go get this across all the platforms out there.
Man, thank you, Brandon. We had a blast recording, and I can honestly say it was probably one of the fastest.
Yeah,
when you
just came together.
Mm-hmm.
Fastest.
Yeah.
When you get in the studio, sometimes it's like this is going to be a long, drawn out ordeal, and it might take
just clicked, Brandon.
several days and weeks. This thing went together extremely fast, and we had some. We brought in a cousin of ours to play steel guitar. Set in and play steel guitar with us, and we brought in our normal drummer Chuck. He set in and played drums with us on it.
And Chris Knoll.
Chris Knoll played piano. I played electric guitar. Andy played bass, and Chad played rhythm. And so it was a different type of session, different than any of our other recordings. It just seemed like everything just went how it was supposed to. Just like. It was good. It had a super cool vibe to it, recording it.
Yeah, I love it too. And y'all did a lot of great, man. The instrumentation, the album cover, everything there. We're going to dive into a lot of the songs, but my favorite time on the show, we get a chance to have you guys perform and play one off the album for us too. Again, it's Sights and Sounds, and you can give the guys a follow at flatriverband.com out there for official merchandise and, of course, tour dates and everything out there. And, of course, check out the record across all the platforms wherever you stream or download your music. So definitely so many good ones I could choose from, but I'm going to let you guys have the dealer's choice, no doubt. So what's up first?
We've always been huge fans of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and we'll pop that one out to you. That Stephen Stills number for you.
All right, let's do it.
We kind of added some steel to it and countryized it a little bit.
Yeah,
Countryized it.
Sorry to say, but we'll let your viewers use their imagination a little bit.
All right, here we go.
Helplessly hoping her heart aching, others nearby, waiting word, gasping at glimpses of gentle true spirit. He runs, wishing he could fly, only to trip at the sound of goodbye. Wordlessly watching, he waits by the window and wonders at the empty place inside. Heartlessly helping himself to bad dreams he worries. Did he hear goodbye? hi, or even hello. They are one person, they are two at home, they are three together, they are for each other. Stand by the stairway, you'll see something certain to tell you. Confusion has its cost. Love isn't lying, it's loose in a lady who lingers, saying she is lost and choking on their love. They are one person, they are two at home, they are three together, they are for each other.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the Backstage Pass, of course, the countdown to CRS is on February 23rd to 25th at the Omni, and I'm sure we'll be somewhere off-site there doing some cool things, still some things we're working on behind the scenes that we'll put out there on socials hopefully in the next few weeks, and definitely looking forward to meeting the guys from the Flat River Band and just having a good old time in Nashville, Tennessee. Looking forward to that, too. The new EP, Sights and Sounds, is out there across all the digital platforms, and be sure to check them out at flatriverband.com. Back here with the brothers. Again, you know, I'll take one of the comments in there, too, and this pretty much sums it up what I said at the top of the show, and this was for one of our listeners out there. Valenia was listening out there, and I, again, echo the sentiments, no doubt. I mean, that's something I said, Valenia, at the top of the show, and, of course, she's also a big Gatlin Brothers fan. So if you have any comments, feel free to leave them there in the margin, and we'll get to as many as we can. If you had a question for the guys, feel free to leave it there, too, as well. I know one of the ones I get asked a lot, too, and I'll say this, and we'll dive into some tracks from Sights and Sounds here in a little bit, is the guitars you guys are holding there. And one of my, I guess, buddies from, I think it's over in England. Yeah, he tunes in from time to time. And one of his kind of personal questions he loves to ask is, and I'll ask it for him today if he's not tuning in, is kind of the guitars. Tell me about the instruments and how important it is to have that great guitar behind you. And, of course, they always say tuned well to make yourself sound good. Tell me about each guitar there and how personal those guitars are for you guys.
I'm playing a Gibson acoustic guitar. I believe it was built in 2014, I believe. And it's a guitar I picked out from Gibson. We actually have a Gibson endorsement. I went to the factory and picked this one out, and I picked one out for Chad as well. But he's not playing his today. He's playing his Martin guitar.
This is kind of my go-to songwriting guitar. It's just it's nothing fancy. It's a D1 Martin. I bought it brand new in '96, and I've had it for a long time. It's a real light guitar, but it's got a whale of a. I got this little feedback buster in it right now, so you can hear his Gibson while we're doing this, this show here. But I just love sitting around because it's so light. I like just picking up. It's really easy to maintain, and I just I don't know. I've loved it. I've loved it ever since I had it in '96. I played it with our family band, and it's got some wear and tear on it. And then adds to the wear and tear that my sons. I have some boys around the house, and they kind of put their little mark on it as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they put some marks on it. Yeah. This is speaking of '96. That's about when you got that.
This is a '96.
This is a '90. I think it's around a '96. Manufactured '96 is a Fender Deluxe. This is actually a U.S. made in USA. So and it's a deluxe version with some passive active pickups, and I don't know. I love the way it frets out and everything, and I don't know. I'm a Fender guy myself.
Personal stories with those personal instruments, and like I said, you can't do a great song without the great instruments, and of course artists that stand behind it and guys that play it. That's why I always credit, man. When I go to a live show, I just went and saw the Oak Ridge Boys a couple of weeks ago at one of the casinos down here. I never had seen them in my lifetime, and I told people, they were like, "You're in for a good show. You're in for a great show." And those guys could stand at the mic, and I said, "Well, yeah, there's great harmonies and vocals right in there." But I was telling a buddy of mine, I said, "You see them boys behind them playing those instruments? That's what really makes them stand out even more too."
The Oaks have a great band.
Yes,
that Oak Ridge Boy band was phenomenal too as well. I said, well, they sound great, plus the gentlemen standing behind them that play great to make them sound great, no doubt about it. Hey, before we get off a couple of tracks here, talk to me a little bit about, I love this one too because I got a chance to listen to it. Every Dog Has Its Day. You guys put that out just right there in 2019 before we actually hit all the madness the following year. Tell me about this, how it came together. I actually love the title track itself and really found it very interesting that songs can tell stories and resonate with so many people in many different ways. This project had to be pretty cool to work on too at the same time, and it seemed like you guys had a great selection of songs on that album.
Yeah, we did. That's the Every Dog, right?
Yeah.
I wrote that. I was actually leasing a farm over here in Williamson County, and that's kind of when I got the chicken business, I guess you'd say. Like I said, I've got 4 sons, and I would have my boys go up and gather the eggs every day, and that song kind of stemmed, from that whole experience. We rented a farm for about 14 months over here in Williamson County, and I just kind of applied some of the truths that our grandpa has passed down to me, or passed to my dad. My dad has passed down to my brothers, and I'm just going to pass to my sons. But yeah, we enjoyed doing it. It's kind of got an Alabama feel to it. The song
does, yeah.
And just doing that whole project, we actually co-wrote a song with the guy by the name of John Scott Sherrill. I believe it's on that album.
Yeah. And
he's a monster writer in his own right. He's had 14 number ones, and we've just kind of got with him on that one of the songs there. And then Denny actually wrote a really cool song called "Devil on the Side," I believe.
Yeah.
And that whole collection, we recorded it in West Nashville at a guy's house actually, and it turned out really, really nice. And it
was a fun project.
It was a fun project. We love the whole recording, Brandon. We love the whole recording process. Going in and it's like on the Sights and Sounds album, we practiced a whole lot before going in on our vocals. Because the vocals is kind of a big deal to us. And going in there and getting the vocals just right, that means a lot to us. So
It definitely caught my attention. Also, I like the second track, the Beauty Amongst the Trees. I thought was very interesting too. At the same time, which really set that tone going into the title track. As I always say, people tell me what's not just a selection of songs, Brandon, that go on our album. It's what order we put them into at the same time to kind of get to that roller coaster ride, start somewhere and kind of finish. Tell me about Beauty Amongst the Trees.
That I love playing that song live too, because we really get a lot of good feedback from the audience when we do that. But the song kind of speaks for itself. I mean, we live in a society, as much as social media is a part of everything, and everybody seems like everybody is glued to the phones.
Yep.
And that's kind of what the song speaks about, as far as just getting out and enjoying life in general, as opposed to being glued to the phone. So,
yeah, that's what.
I'm just good at giving a rest a little bit. You can see the beauty of the trees.
Yeah, I tell you this. Like I said yesterday, I took the wife and daughter down to the beach, and we just had to get out of there. And I had like 4 or 5 calls. I'm like, I'll get back to you on Monday. I just left the phone at the house and drove down there, and it was a little cool, but ate some seafood and. Drove along the beach there and just at Galveston. I said, I just got to get out, clear the heads, go see some family. And you're right, we do get caught up in this social media world. But I tell you this, one thing it helped was, man, it's amazing how many artists we talked to here on the program said that if there's one thing that it did during the whole COVID process, it allowed us to kind of reach our fans, keep singles out, keep doing some live streams, maybe pick up an instrument we didn't get a chance to pick up for a very long time. So how did you guys kind of, and I know that staying busy, probably writing and recording music, which y'all did, any other kind of things that you guys had to kind of remedy or kind of reinvent yourself through this whole pandemic?
Yeah, I found myself eating a lot.
Well, I did too, yeah. And doing that a lot too as well, yeah.
Eating very well, yes.
Yeah. Of course, I'm sponsored by a whiskey company. I was telling y'all before the show, so it makes it easier for me to put on the COVID-15 or whatever it is. Yeah, so that's.
I call it COVID 40.
What's that?
I call it the COVID 40.
The 40. I got to lose the COVID 40, which is on there too at the same time. Let's dive back into sights and sounds. I tell you what, I love this one. It really ain't a woman like a river. I thought that was something to really. There's another one that you guys would say it's really self-explanatory. Tell me about this and kind of the writing and behind it. I thought the harmonies were again very good on that one to lead off the EP.
Well, that song in particular was actually written during the whole COVID thing, and I co-wrote that with a buddy of mine down in Texas, and he actually come to me with the idea, and he and I just kind of through the phone and tossing ideas back and forth to one another. I don't know how long it took us to write it, but we were, during that COVID time is when Ain't a Woman Like a River come about. So it's a cool tune. I love it. It's got some really cool harmonies on it, and the simplicity of it is what I love,
Yeah, it was very easy. And like I said, on the ears, man, I could say, yep, that was something. And it does make you make you smile a little bit too as well. Again, music's supposed to make you feel something and definitely, like I said, emotional, sadness, happiness, whatever, and get through some tough times. But even that is something where you can, like I said, listen to it. It's easy right there on the ears, and it just came out real well. I thought it was real good. I just wish you were someone I love. We talked about that one too as well. Of course, Gatlin Brothers and that story right there. Hey, let's have you guys play another one. We'll come back and talk about the River song and then Shining Through My Window and Helplessly Hoping here just a little bit too as well as we finish out the EP and get into a little rapid fire. I always have a series of funny questions we get to ask you guys. And then, of course, you never know what I'm going to come up here with on the show. It's just always a fun time. So definitely it's always good stuff. We'll get to some personal individual questions of eating food and drinking and binge watching television shows and all that good stuff. So I'll leave it to you guys. Dealer's choice. What's coming up? What do you got?
We're doing one that Chad wrote. We're going to do that. It's Shining Through My Window, I believe. We actually wrote the Prairie Sisters on it. So we'll do that one.
That works. Yep.
The sun is shining through my window. Everything seems to be okay. I got myself a good loving woman. She makes those dark clouds go away. Why does everyone wear sad faces? Where they stand is doom and gloom. I thank God I got my baby. is shining through my window. Everything seems to be okay. I got myself a good loving woman. She makes those dark clouds go away.
Oh, take it down.
Thunderstorm simply disappear. Oh, baby, you're the weatherman's biggest fear. God knows they never get it right. Everywhere you walk there, baby, the sun is shining so bright. The sun is shining through my window. Everything seems to be okay. I got myself a good loving woman. She makes those dark clouds go away. The sun is shining through my window. Everything seems to be okay. I got myself a good loving woman. She makes those dark clouds go away.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-hosts Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, and Karen Lee Batten as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And back here on the show with the boys from the Flat River Band. I tell you what, man, great sound shining through my window off the current EP sights and sounds out there across all the digital platforms. Make sure you check them out, and also at flatriverband.com. Yep, it's pretty simple, pretty easy, a good feel, man, a good flow like a river. It's always, I kind of say, a woman like a river, which led off the record, but there's so much cool things in there. And what I like about it is if you're going about 75 in your truck down a freeway, that's one of the best times to listen to it. Crank it up, have you a beverage in your console there. You really just get a feel for it. Of course, you can do it any way you want to, but that's how I did it one day. I was just, I'm going to take a drive and shine it through my window, came on as everything else. And of course, I just love the ease of that one too. Like I just can't stress enough how much y'all worked real hard on the harmonies, and it really, really shows.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it, Brandon.
We're so thankful to get the McCrary sisters on that song too.
And so for the listeners that don't know who the McCrary sisters are, those gals are they do some amazing background vocals and stuff, and their dad came from.
Was one of the founding
members of the Golden Gate Quartet.
Fairfield.
I'm sorry, Fairfield Ford. Fairfield Ford. Thank you for correcting me on that. But Regina sang backup with Bob Dylan for like a long time, you know.
Yeah.
And they sang background on a lot of who's who in country music.
Yeah.
And rock, you know. So it was awesome. Super cool getting to meet those girls. When we recorded with them and we were in the studio, it was like, I know that we're going to be recording with these girls again. You know what I mean? Get to perform live. I knew it. You know, when I first met them, I just knew from that day that we'd end up recording and performing again with them at some point. You know, they're super awesome, talented ladies.
I'll tell you what, I did not know, and I didn't know that in the song. I needed to actually do a little more digging, but it just really, again, y'all shined very well on it too, man. It was one of my favorites off the record too. And let's kind of talk about the River song a little bit, which is the third track on there. Tell me how that one kind of came to light.
Well, we like I said, we grew up in Southeast Missouri, and we grew up about 1.5 miles from a little river called Cass River, where all three of us were. We used to go to the swimming hole, swim. We got baptized in the same river, and we used to just hang out at the river a lot, And that was all three of us co-wrote that song, and that's an old one. That was an old song. We just never did record. It was like, man, let's put this on with this basic song. So we did. It's just kind of a feel good, fun song, and kind of talks about our childhood a little bit.
I love it too. Great story it tells. And then the last one on there, Helplessly Hoping. That's another one that just kind of comes to light, really kind of finishes off the record. I'm sure the way you guys wanted it to. Tell me about that one. How it just really was that an easy write?
No, that was actually Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Okay.
Stephen Stills wrote that song. But how that came about is me and my wife were traveling out in Colorado, and it was on her playlist. And I remember I'd heard the song, and I was like, I kept on hitting repeat and listening to it. I thought, you know what? Me and my brothers, we could sing that song. We could sing that song, and I could hear some steel guitar in it because it's never had steel in it before.
Yeah, it's a folk. Was it folk?
It's an old folk rock song.
Folk rock
we
song.
thought, let's put our twist on it and make it ours. So that's what we did.
Yeah,
good stuff. That's how music is supposed to. There's a lot of my repeat now, and you guys are on the list when it comes to repeating a lot of stuff on there. That and I know I try to do so many shows and know good music when I hear it too at the same time, and definitely.
We did a video for that song. We did it back in October. Actually, it was October 31st. We did a video for that. Helplessly Hoping.
Yeah, I want to encourage everybody to go to our YouTube page and check that out. There's a
it's pretty cool. It's a cave. It was filmed in a cave.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We had to buy every candle in what is it? Freedom in Hickman County. We had bought all the candles out from all the Dollar General stores because I think we had to light that cavern up. So it was a great time.
Another thing I found fascinating. Tell me about was the album cover kind of one of those things easy to put together? It looks like you guys were just kind of enjoying it. I mean, holding what looks like to be the guitar cases in like a field, and the sun's shining, and like I said, there's a little bit of a cloudy sky. You've got the logo kind of right there.
That wasn't planned. That wasn't planned at all.
It was an accident.
Yeah, it was captured by a drone as we was walking away from the river, and we thought, well, man, let's just use that. So it worked out.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
that was
amazing,
actually pulled off of a.
We're like, hey, you guys come back here and walk that over again. We're like, what? Yeah, come back over here and walk that over again. So
drone did a hell of a job. I can tell you that much to put out something as just breathtaking and relaxing as that is, because you can look at that and, like you said, the trees, the woods, the sun shining, of course, the little cloudy sky. I think there's water everywhere, and there's a river somewhere near that too. At the same time, you mentioned the small town, of course, and how much this music means to you guys. Again, sights and sounds out there across all the digital platforms, and check them out at flatriverband.com. All right, guys, my favorite time of the show, we get to dig in a little bit more, get to know you more on a personal basis. Always a fun thing. So individually, we'll start wherever you guys want to start and kind of work our way around a little bit. I find myself catching up on every show on Netflix through the tough times. Still catching up. I know one of my favorites came out. I'm into like season 4, part 1 of the Ozarks now. What did you guys individually binge watch during the pandemic?
I watched the Ozarks. I binged the Ozarks, and I got into Yellowstone.
Okay, all right.
I got into Yellowstone too. I think I've watched Yellowstone in 2 days.
Yep, that's once you get started with it.
I'm pretty sure I watched Yellowstone in 2 days. What did you guys watch?
Well, myself, I'm
Chad watched Sesame Street.
Well, I'm doing that too. So yeah.
No, I actually, me and my father-in-law and my dad, we built an addition onto my barn. We built a 25 by 25 lean-to with a chicken coop. So I really didn't binge watch too much because I do have some young boys. I'm kind of cautious about what I watch at the house because it doesn't take long for them to duplicate what they hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I basically was out building this chicken coop for, through the whole COVID thing. So, yeah.
I basically just watched him build his chicken coop. No, I watched a little bit of that Ozark. I started watching that like Chad. I have to with kids because see, hey, we're originally Missouri boys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All three of us are originally Missouri boys. So that Ozark, it kind of
It's in our backyard.
It's in our backyard, original backyard. So I mean, we watch it.
I wonder if this stuff really happened.
Well, you start to wonder, and it works your mind too, man. You have to keep track of all the different things. There's some of the backstory stuff, and then of course the current things that happened. And I tell you that season 4 started off about where I kind of, well, I'm not gonna ruin it for people. It starts off a little bit differently than you expect when they go back. But I'm on number 3, I think season 4, part 1, third one. There's 7. They're supposed to come out with another, I think 7 or 8 for part 2. This is it right here, season 4. So if people hadn't gone back to watch it, you might want to rewind it and go to season 1. There's also, I think I got into, what was it else? Oh, Cobra Kai, which was kind of the Karate Kid kind of was good. Outer Banks was another kind of a cool thing I liked. Queen's Gambit. There was so much out there. It was crazy.
What was the last one you said? I'm sorry.
The Queen's Gambit was another good one I liked on Netflix, which is pretty cool. There's another one that's escaping me right now, but it actually starred the guy who played the dad in American Pie. Well, I think all 3 American Pies. And he put out a series on Netflix, and I can't think of the title of it right now, but I loved that other.
Schitt's Creek?
Yes, Schitt's Creek, correct. Yes, I started to get into that. Didn't finish it, but I kind of thought it was funny. Anything with him is going to be in any kind of kid
What's
actor.
The eyebrows?
What's that?
It's the eyebrows. It really draws.
Yeah, he has so much freaky to his way. Then I'm like you guys. Let's go here. And speaking of that too, watching, drinking, eating. What did y'all find yourself eating and drinking through all this? And I guess even currently now.
Well, all 3 of us are extremely hardcore coffee drinkers. I can tell you that.
Okay, me too. Yep.
Straight black, espresso.
He's on another whole other level as far as the coffee.
I really dove into coffee world, like on a deep dived. That's even. I dove down deep into the coffee world. I have a nice little coffee bar I made in my house, and I have an espresso machine. And take grinding. I find passion in grinding coffee beans.
Right. Your passion is what you love.
Hey, there's an art to it. I'm telling you, there's an art. It really is.
Show me sometime. I'd love to come with you. Like you said, like he was watching Chad build a chicken coop. I'd probably watch you do your process and enjoy that too at the same time, no doubt. As far as you mentioned that too as well. Now I get to Nashville. Is there foods? I heard about 5 Point Pizza. Somebody was telling me the other day, and there's a couple other little things in there. Hattie's, what is it? Hattie B's, the hot chicken. Anything else that it's like a must do for that week of CRS that I've got to eat out there, or just I love all kind of food. I do. So
I'm trying to think. There's a Shohan's Ale House is pretty good. She was it's like if you're into Indian food.
I do love it. Yep.
Okay, well she was one of the judges on Chopped, and she's super nice gal. She's always there. She's always there at a restaurant, and she married a gentleman that has a microbrewery, so he does pairings a lot with her meals. And it's not like pure Indian food. It's like it's American meets Indian food. If that makes sense.
Ooh, I like that.
And her husband they do a pairing with his beers and stuff. It's pretty good. It's a great, it's called Shohan's Ale House. It's nice. It's super cool experience.
Anything, of course, ale's got drinks and good stuff and good food to go right along with it too. So I'll be sure to check that out when I get off the plane there. Of course, February 23rd to 25th, CRS Nashville, the Backstage Pass. We'll be there. Myself, Jeff McMahon, Kirsty Krause, and a whole bunch of other great things happening. We can't disclose as of yet right now too as well. All right, let's get into this real quick. I know you guys, I'll stick with the food thing because I mentioned the pizza thing. And that's my favorite food. If you guys are ordering a pizza and nobody else in the group there can have a slice, but it's just for you, what toppings are you guys putting on individually?
Oh man, I don't know. We're
meat
lovers.
Lovers and add jalapenos. I'm like meat lover and add jalapenos, and I'm like, set. Yeah. I'll eat any kind of crust pizza as long as there's lots of meat on it and jalapenos.
And I'm with you, not a veggie guy, so I'm right there with you on the meat lovers. They've got
jalapeno part.
For me, oh man, I could probably do a bite, but there's just something about, I don't know, man, jalapenos. I love hot stuff too. I love spicy stuff, but I just can't. It's like a texture thing for me. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
Chad, I could do jalapenos.
Chad suffered with that.
I could probably do it, but I'd probably have to. I was like, "Where's that milk? Give me a glass of milk. I'll stand by a glass of milk. Put the fire
It's a
on."
mental thing. It's a subconscious thing.
Yeah,
Chad's the same way with onions.
you know, I could. Well, you know, and I could say this too as well. That's another thing. And somebody's wanting me to take this pineapple pineapple on pizza challenge when I get up there. I forget who it was, but I don't know if I'm hoping I'll like run it. You've had, well, you guys, you get a little bit of the salty and the sweetness from the pineapple and kind of mix it. I guess I've never wanted to try it, but I guess if you put ham with it, I probably could take a bite. So maybe I'll take the jalapeno challenge. We'll see how that goes. I get up there too. Like they could somebody could order me one, put it down the table. I'd never know what was on it too, as long as it's a thin crust. It's got to be thin crust. All right, let's say this. You guys woke up tomorrow. Somebody, one of the brothers there, won the lottery. What was what would be the first thing you guys would do with the money?
Oh wow! First thing I do with money. Oh my!
My wife give 10% to the good Lord. So that's number one. That's number one.
Probably do a new album.
Sounds. I like that.
My wife's probably watching this. She's thinking, "What in the world are you thinking?"
And does anybody know it that you won the lottery? That makes a big difference.
Is it public notice? Is it the public? General public know it?
I'll say no. How about that? Just for the sake of it, I'll say not public knowledge. There you go. So secretly, you guys.
I would build a big cabin up in North Carolina somewhere or something in the mountain. Get away.
I always say I'd get a dream house out in I love the West Coast, so like San Diego or Arizona. I'd go out there and buy me a piece of property or
where you out of right now, Brandon?
Texas, out of Beaumont, Texas, down here by Houston. So I love Texas, but I travel twice a year out to Phoenix, to the Arizona area, Scottsdale. And of course, the housing market is very, very pricey out there too. But I still love going to the West Coast. Got some family in San Diego. We get to go visit from time to time, so it's always fun to just get out there and enjoy the beach and a little bit of the water, and of course the heat during the summertime for Phoenix. But it's a dry heat, so I like it.
Right. Yeah.
Texas has more humid and more. You get to wipe your brow just stepping outside for 5 minutes. Compared to Arizona, you wipe your brow and you're like, "That's dry, man. That's a dry heat," which is good there. So, and I'm a Cardinal fan, so I love to go out there and watch the team play. Got to go to a game this past fall. A friend of mine works for the organization. Hey, speaking of that, I'm going to go there because we know we're getting ready for Super Bowl 56 and February 13th in California at SoFi Stadium. Once a week, I do a little sports show with a buddy of mine. Football teams, is there a dog in the fight now? Did you guys lose somebody during the playoffs? Do y'all watch sports? And not just football. Is there any other sports, college or pro, that you guys get into?
I'm done watching after Alabama lost.
Well said, no doubt. It's unexpected to see what happened in the playoffs. What about you guys? Any other sports you got to get into?
College football.
I'm a big college football guy.
College football, really.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bama. Okay, roll tide. Well, let's say it's nothing wrong with it. Well, I didn't expect that in that football game, but hey, that's why they play it, right? I didn't expect Georgia to play that well. So. Not to ruin it for you guys, because that could have easily gone either direction too. But I'll still say this: greatest head coach in college football. He's done so much for the sport. Continues to put players in the NFL and graduate players, a high graduation rate, and just phenomenal. 7 national championships over his 11 years now there, and whatever contract he wants. He's kind of like your.
Well, I just want to clarify something. I'm not an Alabama fan.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm more of a Vols fan. Okay.
Okay, all right. I love
it because this is live. It's going to record. I want it to be known for the record. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Okay.
So I'm more of a Vols fan than I am an Alabama
fan.
fan. Alabama, I respect Saban. He's a great coach.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's a coach's coach, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a Vols fan.
I like that. I'm glad you clarified that for me too as well. I'm going to assume, but hey, it's nothing wrong. Like I said, a good friend of mine's a Roll Tide fan too. So definitely, either way, like I said, Georgia did outplay them, and I did not expect that to be the result in the national championship game. All right, let me ask you this: stepping on stages, what you guys have done now that we're getting back to a little bit of that feel good live performance again, and just seeing artists do what they do best, stepping on stage. Is there kind of a dream stage for you three to step on? I guess if so, what would it be?
I would say the Grand Ole Opry. That's that's our
I would
bucket
say
list.
so. Yeah, I would
Probably
say
the
the
Opry.
Grand Ole Opry probably is our bucket list. Yeah.
Center Circle. I could see that happening too. That was one of my next questions there about the Opry, about each Saturday night. I'm gonna try to take it in when I get there. And if you guys ever step in that circle, I will get a ticket, and I'll hopefully be sitting there watching you three do what you do best. No doubt about it too. I think there you put 1,000, 2,000 people in that venue, or wherever you guys step on the stage, it'd be just like the listeners here and the viewers with the comment box about the harmonies and everything else about the album. I love it. Let's do this one. Is there a bucket list? I guess stepping away from music, is there a bucket list vacation you guys are saying, if I don't have to perform, I'd like to go here just for a little bit of leisure and relaxation?
I'd like to go up to. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about going up to Yellowstone in the wintertime and renting those snowmobiles. I would really love to do that.
That would be cool.
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about doing that, and I would really love to take my boys up there and do that. Make some snow angels and.
I went there 6 years ago. Now, this was summertime, but still, it was like the weather was beautiful. It was like July. Got to take a hike with the wife and go through all the different sights and sounds. Of course, Old Faithful and different geysers, and see just a beautiful piece of country, man. Yellowstone is just, it's everything. You really have to go there. I can't explain it here. People tell people go and just take a lot of pictures and just breathe and take it all in, because honestly, it's one of the things, even after we're gone, you'll never forget that particular trip. So that was one of I had to check that box, and I'm just glad I did too. Any other kind of fun things you guys love doing as hobbies, kind of away from music?
We love to fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love to fish.
Love to fish.
Yeah. Matter of fact, actually before COVID, it's like that was kind of our thing. It's like we were eat, sleep, and stay on the river. That's all we ever did. It seemed like. So we love to fish.
Yeah.
I don't do it enough now. It's like we haven't done it in so long. I feel like
now that we're back to the grind again, as they say too, because like I said, nothing's going to stop us, and like I said, nothing's going to stand in our way. And I tell you what, I love the fact that you guys can put out great music and something that sounds authentic, something that is country, and something that has great harmonies and great instrumentation. And I just tell people, go get it. Sights and sounds across all the digital platforms, and check the guys out at flatriverband.com. Guys, sure appreciate your time today. Looking forward to catching up, hopefully at CRS when we get there. And thanks so much for dropping us a little vine today.
Thank you for
Brandon.
having us,
Appreciate you, Brandon.
You got it, no problem. Tomorrow on the show, interesting broadcast. We get these from time to time, and it's actually probably a little music related. But if you remember the movie Anchorman, there's a lady named Darcy Donovan. She's going to join us tomorrow. We'll talk about that and some more cool things. February 10th, John Michael Montgomery coming on the show with us too as well. And if you're a rock fan, some point in February, JJ French of Twisted Sister is going to join us here on the Backstage Pass. Again, thanks to Bangtail Whiskey, MitchMax.com, and, of course, Hank Jr. Productions. We'll see you here in a few weeks at CRS in Nashville, Tennessee. Myself, Jeff, and Kirsty, and from the Backstage Pass and for us all. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.